What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Marvel Legends Venom series Spider-Ham. Here we do have Spider-Ham in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get him open up, and then we'll have a better look at the figure inside, so stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Spider-Ham posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's take a look at what he comes with. Spider-Ham does come with the torso of the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure, which we'll have a closer look at when he's all put together. As far as accessories go, Spider-Ham here does come with one. He comes with an alternate head for Venom, which is a pork rind head. Pork grinder? Pork rind? I don't really know, and I really don't care, because this is a terrible figure. So, with his accessories out of the way, let's take a closer look at Spider-Ham. So here we have a closer look at Spider-Ham, and I know there's a lot of people out there who are going to criticize me saying he's a good figure. I don't see any good in this figure. I mean, there's some things that are done okay, and then the rest of them is done terribly. Let's talk about some good things. He has the webbing sculpted on his torso and his head, so all the webbing that you see is nicely sculpted. It's nicely sculpted, but it's not painted. The sculpt is there, but there's absolutely no paint on the black lines. I don't know if there's supposed to be lines on Spider-Ham, and I don't know if they're supposed to be black, but he just doesn't look like... He's missing the webs. Like, the webs could be painted, but we don't have any webs painted. I think one of the good things on this figure is the paint on his eyes, his nose, and the spider. That's pretty much it. That's the only good paint on this figure. And if you're saying I'm being a little too harsh, well, it's a tiny figure. There's no reason why they couldn't have painted this better. You can see that it really doesn't line up perfectly right there. It's a little bit sloppy on his torso. You have a paint smudge right there. And then you get up to his arms where it's really transparent. The red isn't painted on properly. It's a little more obvious on this side. Then we get to his arms, which I think the blue is painted on them. I really can't tell, but it's sloppy. It's not the best work that Hasbro has done, and it's pretty bad. He does have one whip hand and then one open hand, so that's okay, I guess. Paint on his lower torso is horrendous. There's a big splotch of red right there. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a big splooge of red right there, and on his pants here, it's really sloppy, especially right here. Like I said, it could have been better. You have the serial number right there, and then his boots, which no paint to speak of. It's all sculpted. And this is, like I said, he's a terrible figure. There's really hardly any redeeming qualities to him. I guess he looks okay. He's always at this stance because he has no articulation in his legs, but that's it. You're not going to really get much out of Spider-Ham here. So what we're going to do now is compare him to a few other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Spider-Ham posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Spider-Ham posed next to a DC Universe Classics Dexstar and a DC Universe Classics Badge. And finally, here we have Spider-Ham posed next to a Marvel Legends Spider-Man and a Marvel Legends Venom. So with comparisons out of the way, let's actually go on to Spider-Ham's articulation, and that's another place where this figure sucks. I can't put it any lightly. This figure absolutely sucks. Let's go over it really fast. He has a ball joint in the head, looks down about that far, looks up about that far. That's it. That to that. We get some really slight head tilt, so we go from there to there. And that's really, you can actually try pushing it a little bit further, but you're going to actually pop his head off the joint, so just that and that. We get good rotation at the neck. No hinge, which I'm going to show you. It's just on a simple ball joint, so there is only a ball joint there. Arms go out about that far. Do a full 360. A little tight on mine. elbow joints, he does have elbow joints. They go forward to about there. They go back, they rotate, and they do rotate on that joint, but you really can't do anything other than 90-degree bend. You can see I can try, but his elbow is not going to bend inward any more than it already is. And then we have this really ugly cut in the wrist. That is terrible. You can only have his wrist posed like that, because otherwise the sculpt doesn't make sense. If you have him like that, you pretty much cut off a huge section of his hand. And it's even worse on the whip hand, because now his hand doesn't even line up properly. So just terrible engineering on that. I guess the best part of his articulation is this ball joint in his torso, but it gets really gappy. Yeah, the movement is pretty good, but look at that. That gap is unacceptable. I know he's a small figure, but that doesn't look right. I get he's supposed to be a comical figure, but that's laughably bad, honestly. As I said, he has no articulation in the legs. His foot does swivel, but it's at an offset joint, so if you try moving his leg, he just falls down. And you have to have his legs at the right stance, because if you have them any further, he falls over. I just barely rotated his feet, and he can't stand worth a damn. Even having just one leg swiveled in doesn't help, and even swiveling them outward, he falls backwards. So poor engineering on this figure. I think he just sucks. What we're going to do now is actually take a little break and get on pose for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. So here we have Spider-Ham pose for my final thoughts. Overall, this figure is atrocious. I know there's a lot of people who love this character, and I'm not saying that this character is stupid. I'm just saying that this figure is terrible. The articulation on him is really, really subpar. I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, but he's a small figure. I know he's a small figure, but Hasbro has given us better articulation on small figures. Just look at what they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy Rocket Raccoon, who has much better articulation than this guy. They literally just said, well, you know what, we gotta make Spider-Ham, and let's put as little effort in as we can, and here we are, a subpar figure that is not worthy of the plastic he's made out of. Even the pork rinder head isn't that special, and I think the main reason people will even pick this figure up is for the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure, or if you're a die-hard Spider-Ham fan. Me, personally, I don't really care much about the character, and he's probably going to go for sale or in a storage bin for the rest of his days. But I just can't recommend Spider-Ham just because he's really limited in posability, and Hasbro really did phone in this figure. If you're looking for Spider-Ham, which I don't know why you would, he is available at retail right now, which he's going to cost you $20. This is not a $20 figure. This is a $5 figure, and the only reason you're buying him is for the Monster Venom piece anyway. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. I would like to thank the good folks at Black Sheep for getting this figure so I could review it to you guys. Like I said, I just don't like this figure. Character is pretty okay, but this figure is stupid. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Marvel Legend videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.